Whatever anyone wants to perceive from that story, they can perceive. I have nothing to hide. I have no story to tell. I have no lie to give. I have really no care to give.
You're saying you weren't posing as a doctor?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
When you walk into a doctor's office, you assume, or at least hope, that the person in the white coat knows what they're doing. But in early 2016, patients at New Birth, New Life Medical Center in urgent care learned that wasn't always true. Because standing there in a stethoscope, clipboard in hand, confidently introducing himself as Dr. Malachi Love-Robinson was an 18-year-old teenager who hadn't even finished high school. Welcome back to Parke Jones. He called himself Dr. Love, and for months he ran his own clinic, wrote bogus prescriptions, and even offered an 80-year-old woman a pelvic exam. The story was so unbelievable that when the truth came out, it went viral around the world. If you enjoy true crime content, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe.
You said you're not a doctor, correct?
These allegations and accusations will be cleared up, and you will hear from my lawyer.
But what good is that going to do, Malachi? You've been practicing medicine without a license, according to these officials.
That it's per what they say.
Malachi Love-Robinson insists he did nothing wrong, even as he was handcuffed and led away from his New Birth, New Life medical clinic Tuesday on charges of practicing medicine without a license.
It's accusations, but I will get it resolved.
Malachi was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, and by some accounts, he was intelligent and well-spoken from an early age. He grew up in a religious household and reportedly had an interest in medicine from childhood. Some teachers described him as polite, articulate, and mature beyond his years, but one former teacher recalled something different, saying she always found Malachi to be calculating and manipulative, even as a teenager. But whatever confidence he did have soon evolved into something else, an obsession with being seen as someone important. By 17, Malachi was already wearing scrubs in public and at one point walked into St. Mary's Medical Center wearing a white coat to shadow Dr. Sebastian Kent, who was an OB-GYN. Dr. Kent thought Malachi looked unusually young, but found that he was knowledgeable about medicine and behaved similar to any other medical student shadowing a doctor. Plus, he wore a name badge that looked like it was issued by the hospital, but it was later found to be fraudulent. When confronted, Malachi told security that he was a child prodigy.
Now authorities figuring out how a teen who claimed to be a doctor went unnoticed for weeks at a local hospital. News Channel 5's Tanya Rogers is live in the newsroom with new details on how he was caught. Tanya?
Well, a St. Mary's Medical Center spokesperson says they are cooperating with police on the investigation after the security team was told about the fake doctor. According to West Palm Beach police, in a report, a patient noticed a child dressed like a doctor wearing a white lab coat with a St. Mary's logo and anesthesiology embroidered on the front. The 17-year-old, who was in outpatient building, was talking to an OB-GYN doctor. Now, that doctor became suspicious of his medical training and alerted security. It appears the teen was seen walking the halls dressed as a doctor on a number of occasions during a month's time. According to the police report, the teen was caught on surveillance camera doing this, but never entered a patient's room. They are shocked that anyone was able to get away with the impersonation for so long.
I mean, if it's that easy to get in and you're 17 and you're not the doctor, there definitely needs to be some sort of a change there.
Now, the teen has not been charged. In the report, his mother told police the teen was diagnosed with some type of a medical issue and was not taking his medicine.
I requested to shadow some physicians. Next thing I know, cops are there. That's all I know. All I know. Have no idea.
And because Love-Robinson was 17 then, police didn't reveal his name.
In early 2015, at just 18 years old, Malachi took things to another level. He leased office space in West Palm Beach and founded what he called the New Birth, New Life Medical Center in urgent care. He created a professional website, hired a few employees, ordered lab quotes embroidered with Dr. M. Love-Robinson, PhD, HHPC, AMPC, and filled the lobby with framed certificates he printed himself. The clinic offered everything from physical exams and holistic medicine to life coaching and nutrition counseling. Patients could book appointments online and even fill out intake forms, just like a real medical office. Somehow, it worked. Because for several months, Malachi operated the business, accepting patients, many of them elderly, and performing exams, taking vitals, and recommending treatments.
I thought he was a real doctor. For the last year.
Now we've discovered another woman who claims Love-Robinson tricked her. Diana Hightower says Love-Robinson walked down her street dressed as a doctor last year and befriended her terminally ill daughter, Bianca, before Bianca died of heart disease last May. Hightower says Love-Robinson months later showed up with a file he claimed was Bianca's medical records, saying her doctors had made mistakes and he was investigating. She was shocked when she saw our broadcast of Love-Robinson in handcuffs.
I want to know, what was he trying to do? Is he trying to hurt me? Because I only have one daughter. I can't bring her back. And that's the part that hurts me the most.
One of Malachi's patients was an 86-year-old woman who came to him for stomach pain. According to her police statement, he visited her home on several occasions, examining her legs, listened to her lungs, and at one point even offered to give her a pelvic exam, but she declined. When the woman later noticed money missing from her purse and unauthorized charges on her bank card, she alerted police. Investigators began looking into the clinic, and what they found was absolutely shocking. Malachi had no medical license, no college degree, and no legitimate medical training of any kind. From there, detectives set up a sting operation. An undercover officer posed as a patient, and Malachi gave the officer an examination. That's when police moved in. He was arrested on multiple charges, including practicing medicine without a license, fraud, and grand theft.
Now, in addition to charges of practicing medicine without a license, Love-Robinson faces additional charges of grand theft and forgery for allegedly writing checks stolen from an 85-year-old woman who lives in Breakers West. The arrest report says Love-Robinson went to the patient's home 4 times, treated her, and stole the checkbook after she was taken away by ambulance.
Once the news broke, Malachi became an instant viral sensation. Clips of his arrest spread online, and social media exploded with disbelief. But instead of hiding, Malachi leaned into the fame.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would just like to simply say that on behalf of myself and my family, we thank you for the concerns in the community about the accusations that have happened. I just want to say that I am deeply saddened and a little disrespected by some of the things that have come forth. But I will say that my attorneys are working hard. They're working around the clock to make sure that this issue gets resolved in the best way possible. I would just simply ask that you please allow the attorneys to do their job. You respect the privacy, you respect my privacy and my family's privacy, and just please allow us to deal with this issue the way any normal family would.
He granted interviews, including one memorable appearance on ABC's Good Morning America. Sitting across from a seasoned reporter, he defended himself, insisting that he never claimed to be a medical doctor, but rather a holistic professional. When pressed about the allegations, he famously said, "I didn't operate on anyone. I didn't treat anyone for serious conditions. I just wanted to help people." The interview went viral, partly because Malachi was unshaken, even as the evidence mounted against him.
Last year, you did make the news when you were found in a pregnant patient's room at St. Mary's. So what happened with that?
Well, here's what I will say, and I really wasn't going to discuss that story, but since you brought it up, I will say this. Allegations and accusations can be as a dagger in the back. I was simply saying, shadowing a physician, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever the community assumes, and whatever picture they want to paint, it can be beautiful or it can be ugly. It's whatever they want to see.
By 2018, after several years of delays and plea negotiations, Malachi pled guilty to multiple charges, including practicing medicine without a license, grand theft, and fraud. He was sentenced to 3.5 years in state prison and offered to repay over $80,000 in restitution to victims. During the sentencing hearing, the judge described his crimes as intentional deception and said his actions undermined public trust in healthcare. While awaiting sentencing, Malachi was also arrested in Virginia for attempting to purchase a luxury car using stolen credit card information from his godmother. a separate case that only deepened his legal troubles.
After almost a year away, locked up in a Stafford County jail, we've learned the so-called fake teen doctor will be extradited back to Florida. This comes as we learn that the now 20-year-old Malachi Love-Robinson was sentenced to a year behind bars after pleading guilty to his Virginia charges. Back in September, investigators say he lied to obtain credit while trying to buy a $35,000 Jaguar.
After his release in 2019, Malachi told reporters that he wanted to turn his life around. For a brief time, he worked in customer service and claimed to be rebuilding his reputation. But in 2022, he was arrested again, this time for defrauding an employer at a shipping company in Palm Beach County. Prosecutors said he rerouted business payments into his own account and stole more than $10,000.
Malachi Love-Robinson had a medical office in West Palm Beach in 2016. He had a webpage where he billed himself as Dr. Love. He treated patients. And he was just 18 years old when his ruse was discovered. Love-Robinson was found guilty of practicing medicine without a license and stealing $20,000 from a patient.
Malachi, can you tell us about this second arrest?
He served more than a year and a half in state prison. In January 2020, according to the police, under the name Alex Robinson, he got a job with United States of Freight, a shipping brokerage based in Delray Beach. Delray police say he stole more than $10,000 from the company by diverting payments to the company into his own bank account.
Malachi Love-Robinson isn't just a case of teenage arrogance, it's a masterclass in manipulation. He weaponized charisma, confidence, and language to create authority out of thin air. He learned early that if you act like you belong, most people won't question you.
When undercover sheriff's deputies hustled Malachi Love-Robinson out of his clinic in handcuffs, they left his stunned business partner Perseus Wells inside, not understanding what just happened.
I was actually telling them, like, he's not an MD. I was still going with the MD thing. And they were like, listen, he's not a doctor at all.
Wells says he thought Love-Robinson's claims of being a naturopathic doctor were legitimate. But the health department told him the state of Florida doesn't license NDs, and Love-Robinson's certificates aren't valid.
I wanted to ask him, come clean. Is this true?
Wells met Love-Robinson at Wells' job selling cell phones. They struck up a friendship, and Wells invested $10,000 in Love-Robinson's new alternative health clinic. He says he knew nothing of the teen's background and thought he was just a really smart kid.
How did a teenager manage to open a clinic, treat patients, hire staff, even get access to hospitals without anyone checking his credentials? What does that say about institutional oversight? It's a story that's part comedy, part tragedy, a blend of youthful delusion, unchecked ego, and the dangerous power of charm. Today, Malachi Love-Robinson is in his late 20s, and it's unclear whether or not he's learned his lesson. But one thing's for sure. He'll forever be remembered as Dr. Love, the teenager who fooled a city, stole thousands, and nearly got away with it. To support the channel, do me a favor, comment, like, subscribe, and check out the videos on the screen. I'm your host, Parke Jones, and I'll catch you on the next one.